Do not watch these videos alone if you're scared of ghosts.
Go now.
Today's compilation has real ghosts, vanishing figures, and a dancing family that captured the impossible.
I don't think so. What's that? What's this?
Ghosts are real, and it starts with this one. It was midnight when a man woke up to the sound of someone sobbing. He was curious and uneasy, so he followed the sound into another room. In the dark corner, this entity was sitting against the wall. It was a shady shape that was small and still. He came out of the room, unsure if it was even real. He shut the door and opened it again. This time, it was creeping horror. The figure had moved. It was standing now, with thin limbs and a smoky form. That was no illusion. It was a demonic entity. Someone recorded a happy moment of people dancing, kids laughing, music playing, but when they watched the clip later, they saw something that no one noticed in real time. In the background, at the window, a strange face was peeking in. It had wide, unblinking eyes and stayed hidden behind the window, like it didn't want to be seen, but it failed. The camera caught it clearly, and the moment it realized that, the face moved back and vanished. It resembled a woman, but not any normal one, more like those churales in Asian folklore, spirits that watch but rarely show themselves. Have you heard about them? If yes, then do share your experiences in the comments below. Spooky glimpse.
Here we go.
This man had been feeling like he was being watched in his house, so he set up a camera to catch it. One evening, as he stood up from the couch, he saw that the shadow was peeking from above the wall. He grabbed the camera and rushed into the room. He looked around in every corner, but there was nothing, not even a single trace. But the footage showed someone standing there.
Here we go. I can be quick as I can. See guys, look, there's nobody in here. Nothing. And even though I've got the heating on, this room is cold and it's got that sulphur smell. It always leaves like a sulphur smell. They'll just disappear into thin air.
Spooky interruption. The girl was filming a makeup vlog, excited and focused on the camera, but something behind her wasn't right. The closet doors creaked open, then closed again. She noticed and turned. There was no one, but still, she got nervous and curious at the same time. As she stepped toward it, the light suddenly went out. The room flickered between light and dark. She slowly opened the closet door, but nothing was there. The light kept turning on and off, like someone or something was messing with it. Right at the moment she ran, and the video ended. No one knows what happened next. Forgotten soul. When this woman stepped out, she did not expect to see a light in the house across the street. She knew it had been locked for years, so this was something strange. A dim light could be seen through the window. Then came this shadiness that was walking slowly in a back and forth motion. This was clearly not a trick of the light because it kept moving. Luckily, the camera caught everything. Maybe the house was never truly empty. Basement hand.
Go now.
Sometimes our instincts give us major hints, and this is what happened with this girl. She always felt something was hiding in the basement. So one day she set up a camera and waited. Then a face peeked from behind the staircase, which was dark and still, watching her. A moment later, a long hand could be seen coming toward her to grab her. She felt it but didn't scream. The girl was waiting for the right moment, and then she stood up abruptly and ran toward it, but it vanished. If this had not been caught on tape, no one would have believed that this dark entity was living in her house.
Go now. Up, down. Just make sure you can see. I mean, that is fast. Nothing there, no?
No.
Unexpected shadow. While the owner was away from her house for a day, her neighbor noticed one of the house's lights turned on. He hadn't seen anyone go inside, so he started recording, and what he caught was unsettling. Later, the other neighbors told the history of this house that there had been similar sightings before, and the shadow was not just trespassing, it actually belonged to that place. This spirit was a resident of this house, and according to reports, had passed away a few years back. Ever since then, it has refused to leave. After coming back, the owner left the house. Window face.
You do see this, right?
The man was vacuuming the carpet, unaware of what was coming next. Everything felt normal until someone walked in and told him to look up. He looked at the window, and there it was. Ty was a face with pale, stretched, hollow white eyes, like something from an old nightmare. He froze at his place and kept staring. More people entered the room, and each one stopped in their tracks.
The hell's that?
Don't move, don't say anything.
The fuck are you looking at?
But that face did not blink or move. This video led to a debate online where some of the viewers called it a prank, but the others were convinced that it was a ghost watching them.
You see this, right?
Yeah, it's just floating in the air.
Jeffrey, I thought you were doing everything.
House with secrets. In 2022, a man went to explore a house that everyone warned him about. It was far from the city and was famous for its haunting stories. The moment he reached the front area, the explorer knew it was a big mistake as he noticed something upstairs. This was a figure wrapped in black with a faint, blurry face. It stood at the window with arms resting on the sill and was staring directly at him. Then slowly, it slid down and vanished. Locals later told him that it's been there for decades, and anyone who tries to stay in that house doesn't last. It doesn't share its space. Spirit on stairs.
Are you sure? I don't think so. What's that?
A mother was filming her daughter's dance routine at home until she moved the camera and caught someone other than her daughter. It was a shadowy face peeking from the staircase behind. The woman ran and saw this ghostly figure at the top of the staircase now.
What's that? A fish!
It was a girl in a frock staring at her. This scared both of them a lot, so they left the house. But this female ghost was still inside.
See? What'd I say? Oh my god. What'd I say? Ah, it's gone! No, shush. No. No!
Glow in dark.
Right there.
An explorer entered an old, abandoned house late at night with a flashlight in hand and a camera. The place was empty with just walls, dust, and creaking floors. At first, nothing seemed strange. He was filming slowly, looking around the area until he turned right. That's when it happened. Two glowing eyes stared back from the darkness. He didn't wait to understand what he saw. He dropped everything and ran. The footage ended with just one last frame. Those unblinking eyes in the room. Well, it is nothing new, but spirits do live in such places. Waiting visitor. After a short trip, this woman returned home with her kids. She walked inside and suddenly stopped. In the corner of the living room, a tall, dark figure stood silently. It had no face, no eyes, just a still shadow waiting. She was shocked and asked her son to turn on the lights. The second the room lit up, the figure vanished. It wasn't there anymore. Her stunned expression said everything. She saw something, and it wasn't just her imagination. This specter was living there in their absence, maybe guarding the place. Window watcher.
What is that?
What was that?
Can you see that there?
Next, we have this clip captured from the window, nothing unusual at first, but then something pale appeared behind the glass. This was a face too still to be human. Its skin was almost white and it did not move at all. For 5 seconds, it just stared out, and then it disappeared. Locals said the house stood empty for years and no one should be inside, but the footage showed that there is still someone living there.
Can you see that there?
Unwanted visitor.
No, stay there. Hey.
Next on the list is this clip that showed a woman stepping inside her house, and something felt off. In the dim light, a dark, smoky figure was sitting on the sofa, like it had been waiting. At first, she thought it was an illusion, but as she walked closer, the figure began to dissolve, slowly turning into smoke and vanishing. She froze with terror. After a few seconds, the figure was gone. There were no open doors or windows. It just disappeared into the air and was never seen again. Glass reveal. You never know when a random moment can turn into something you'll never forget. This man looked outside the window to film the surroundings, but through the window glass, he saw someone sitting on the hood with legs crossed, facing away. The face wasn't clear, but the shape was solid. He moved the camera again. It was still there in the same pose. Nothing was actually on the car when he looked away from the window. That's when it hit him. It was not any ordinary person sitting there. This was someone from another world using the glass as a window back into our world. Scary watcher. The man was casually filming his wife sitting on the sofa and caught something unexpected. In the corner of the room was this tall form with a skeletal face. It was dressed in a long black hooded robe and looked straight into the camera without moving. The man was confused but curious and walked closer. The figure didn't react. It just stood there, like it was part of the room, but still watching. The man was horrified because it resembled the Grim Reaper we all have heard about. The Grim Reaper is a popular personification of death in Western culture in the form of a hooded skeletal figure wearing a black robe and carrying a scythe. Hallway figure. The school tour was supposed to be fun, but it turned out to be the exact opposite. Halfway through the tour, they stopped because at the end of the hallway was a tall figure that was facing them. It looked like a woman wearing a long dark dress and hair covering most of her face. Since this group of friends could not see her, they got scared and ran away from the place. It was only later revealed that she was a teacher who passed away 7 years before this was recorded. Moonlit Entity. In the middle of the night, this man was outside an abandoned building with no windows, just empty walls and rooms. Suddenly, in a dark corner, a black figure was standing. It didn't walk, it just showed up in that space with glowing eyes. It resembled a djinn we have heard about. He ran towards his car because he was terrified, but it didn't stop following him. The sounds and scraping stayed with him as he escaped. Even now, he doesn't know how he made it out, but it seemed like he was never supposed to leave in the first place. Nightmare. A couple was on a night drive, enjoying the moments. As they passed a cemetery, the woman looked out the window and suddenly noticed this strange, tall, dark shade standing beside the graves. She pointed it out, but her partner kept driving, brushing it off. When they got home and checked the dash cam footage, the camera had caught it clearly. A shadow with thin limbs and 2 long horns on its head. It stood there watching. The footage gave them chills. It looked like those demonic entities that wander around. Final moments. For years, people talked about the ghost inside this abandoned house. They claimed to see it moving behind the window at night, just walking and never stopping, but no one dared to go inside. Then came August 2022, the last time anyone ever saw it. That night, it moved across the window one last time and disappeared. Since then, it was never been seen again. It looked like the spirit simply left. Maybe it finally found peace, or maybe it just moved to another place where the story hasn't started yet. Forest encounter. A trail camera captured something hard to explain. This boy was walking through a forest path just like any normal day. Then from behind the bushes, a smoky figure came out, knocked him to the ground, and crossed the path. The boy stood up and ran in terror. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't there to do something intentionally. It just seemed like it had somewhere to go. And the boy was just in the way. Birthday guest. It was supposed to be a happy moment when a woman celebrated her birthday with her daughter and their dog. The room was filled with joy, the candles lit, the camera recording the moment. But when the camera turned back to the woman, the view had changed. Behind her, a pale face appeared. It had white skin, hollow eyes, and was staring back at the camera. It wasn't part of the party. People said it was a prank, but honestly, the face did not look like it. It was a scary, evil ghost ruining their celebration. Fast and Furious. CCTV footage caught something most eyes would have missed. A man was walking casually down a street and everything looked normal, but the person who shared the video slowed it down. And that changed everything. At normal speed, you'd see nothing, but in slow motion, a dark shadow appeared in the corner and glided toward the man too fast. So fast, it seemed like it never happened. The man didn't notice a thing. Whatever it was, it moved at a speed that didn't belong in our world. Screen ghost. Security footage showed a girl standing outside the building, which worried these two guards, so they stepped out to check. They looked around the area with flashlights, even walked right through where she was standing on screen, but she was only visible on camera. It was a form, a shape moving around without being seen by the eye. It could be a spirit tied to that place. Riding school sighting. Janet just wanted to review her riding lesson that her husband had filmed that morning, but while re-watching, she noticed someone standing in the background. It was a man who was standing still and creepily observing her like a creepy stalker. No one was supposed to be there during the ride. She was sure of it. First, this man was facing the camera, then showed his back, but gladly he left without doing anything to the happy couple. Stadium shadow. During a high-stakes football match, something other than the match was caught on camera. A black shadow ran fast, even faster than the players, and it was going through barriers like they weren't even there. It crossed the field in seconds and vanished near the tunnel. Rewinding the footage showed something chilling, that it had no feet. It didn't have a normal shadow, so did the camera actually capture a ghost during a football match? Comment below. Unexpected ride. This eerie footage came from a small town in Mexico. The security camera captured the street when something unbelievable passed by. It was a rider on a horse. But not just any rider. This figure wore a wide-brimmed hat that covered its face. It appeared for a second and then disappeared from the horse when it came closer to the camera. That's why a clear image could not be caught, but it reappeared while going away from the frame. But this glimpse was enough to call it the Black Charo. He was once a man who made a dark deal. Now, he's cursed to ride forever his horse with coal-like eyes, and his shadow that never fades. Passing apparition. This was 2005 when a security camera recorded the hallway of a youth center known for strange stories. That night, the hallway was empty, or at least it looked that way, but on camera, a faint silhouette moved slowly across the corridor. It didn't rush, it didn't hide. It walked calmly, like it knew no one was watching in real time. The people inside never saw anything, only the camera did. A figure, just passing through without disturbing anything or anyone. Mirror terror. These three siblings set up a camera to record themselves singing. Everything started fine, full of laughter and music, but the camera picked up more than just their voices. Behind them, in the mirror, something passed by. It was a smoky white figure with wings. It moved across the reflection, unnoticed by them. Then, the mirror suddenly fell off the wall with a loud sound. The recording cut right after. What they were recording for fun ended with a scene that's still hard to explain. Something paranormal. Stuck reflection. Back in 2008, a short clip went viral for all the wrong reasons. This girl was fixing her hair in front of a mirror, playfully flipping it as she smiled. But then this strange thing happened. She turned away, but her reflection didn't. It stayed there still, and then that face, it wasn't hers anymore. Its mouth was wide open, the eyes looked hollow and spooky. That chilling moment was clear proof of a creepy ghost revealing itself in the mirror that still haunts viewers to this day. Hidden passage. Some things are hard to see with the naked eye, like this small figure moving across the hallway. The clip was unclear, almost impossible to make out, but video experts took a deeper look, adding light filters and contrast. What was once just a blur turned into a shadowy silhouette of a boy. He seemed to pass through like he didn't belong in our world, just walking, as if slipping between two different realities. It looked like a soul randomly passing through. Mirror visitor.
The story behind it, and overall I think it's just
pretty creepy.
This young couple had just moved into their new home and decided to record the moment. Everything seemed joyful. The man filmed the living room, showing his wife in the frame. But what they didn't notice was the mirror behind them. In the mirror, a woman's ghostly figure moved. She wasn't there in the room, only in the mirror. They didn't realize it then, but the footage told a different story. It was already there before them.
In this room.
Yeah?
It's that we know what happened here.
Woman in white. A camper was heading toward a dense forest when, halfway there, he suddenly turned around. This chilling moment on the road made him freeze. A woman dressed in white was crossing the road in front of him. She had long hair hiding her face and was transparent, almost like a shadow. The figure looked exactly like the ones described in old village tales, often linked to restless spirits. He didn't wait to look again. He turned back, leaving the road and the strange figure behind. Invisible crosser. Surveillance footage from a roadside camera showed something that didn't make sense. A dark shadow was seen crossing the road, walking as if it belonged there, but no one else saw it. Not the drivers, not the people nearby. Cars passed right through it without even slowing down. It didn't move aside, it didn't react. It just kept going, and then vanished completely. The only thing that caught it was the camera. These spirits hid themselves from the people, but cannot hide from the camera. Stranger push. This man was going about his day, nothing unusual. He stepped out of the bathroom and out of nowhere, he felt a strong push. He turned around, but no one was there. Later, he checked the security footage. That's when it got weird. A dark shadow could be seen right behind him on the bathroom wall. The push looked intentional. We know that such evil things live in neglected corners, and this one just showed itself. Behind the wall. The owner of the house was resting in his room when strange noises woke him up. He felt curious and uneasy, grabbed a flashlight and camera, and walked out to check. He looked down the basement stairs, but they were empty. He turned around, still no one. But the camera caught what his eyes missed. Just behind the wall, the face of a dark figure was visible. It was still in its place and watching him. It was hard to tell if it was hiding or waiting for something. Either way, he wasn't alone in that hallway. The spook was living with him. School incident. Late night activity inside a school building had left the staff puzzled. Strange sounds and movements were being reported, but no one could explain why. They finally checked the security cameras. What they found left everyone speechless. It was a silhouette moving across the hallway, moving far too fast to be human, but not too fast for the camera. That movement helped explain the unexplained events. It seemed to be a dark apparition that had been there all along, roaming the school after dark. Many figures.
They're leaving.
An explorer entered an old graveyard, just casually recording the place for his vlog. As he looked between the tombstones, he noticed a tall, dark shadow standing still, not moving, not reacting, just there. He thought it might be a trick of light. He adjusted the camera, but then it got weirder. Another one appeared, then another, and then one more. 4 shadows all passing by the graves. They weren't chasing or hiding. It felt like they belonged there. The souls of those who could not find peace yet. He backed away, realizing he might have interrupted.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Scary sighting. This footage came from a neighborhood captured by a home security camera. A woman in a long white dress was seen walking outside the house, but what stood out and terrified everyone was that she had no head. Her upper body moved unnaturally. It looked like she wasn't even touching the ground. She floated more than walked, then went out of the frame like smoke. No one saw her in person. When the owners watched the footage later, they couldn't explain it. It wasn't edited, and there were no shadows around, just a headless figure passing by. Fence jumpers. An upcoming viral video captured something that left viewers speechless. In the middle of a road at night, several fast-moving shadows crossed the screen. They were quick, too quick for the eye to follow, but then two of them stopped, jumped over a fence, and sat on the ground. That's when people started guessing. They looked like goats, but weren't moving like normal animals. The video quality was grainy, but the moment stood out. Were they animals, creatures, or something in between? Nobody knows. Pillar being. While exploring an old abandoned church, this group moved through the dusty halls. They checked every corner, every room, and found nothing unusual. But just as they were about to leave, the camera caught a broken pillar. And that's when it became real. Behind it was a dark figure with no eyes, no face, no details, just a black shape watching. This was not hiding, not moving. The group didn't even notice it on the spot, only later when they reviewed the footage, and never dared to go back there. Hide and seek.
Tapping on the window out. There.
Oh, yeah.
Top window.
This man heard stories about a haunted house, so he stood outside with his camera just to see if anything strange would happen. Within minutes, something did. A shadow appeared in the top window. Then suddenly, it moved to the bottom one. As he zoomed in, the figure disappeared only to pop up again on the side window. Then back at the top. It was fast, like it was playing hide and seek. But what made it worse was how clearly the shadow appeared. It wasn't blurry or distorted. This was one of the clearest shadow sightings ever caught, and it didn't look human. It was a real spook bound to that place.
Bottom window. What the hell is going on?
Following steps. A man was walking by a road, and everything looked normal until someone watching from a rooftop noticed this behind him. The man was walking, but not alone. Another shadow was behind him. It followed his path step by step, but it wasn't his actual shadow. It had its own shape. It stayed right behind him as if waiting for the right moment to be seen. When the clip was shared, people said it was his own spirit following him, or it could be someone else's soul, maybe his loved one. Haunting warning. Something felt off when a YouTuber was recording a casual mirror video with his phone. He turned off the lights for fun, just to create a spooky effect. But what appeared next was no trick. In the dark, this black figure was standing behind him. He froze, trying not to react. Then quickly, he turned on the flash and put it toward the figure, but it was gone. The footage clearly showed something standing right behind him, but unfortunately, he could not see it in reality, and its real identity remained a mystery. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share in the comments and do like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again,